Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Yeah, I know. Because I can't get right. This is cutthroat. This burns as words pop from a snub nose. This Kurt Metzger and not give a fuck mode. Because I can't get right. Because I can't get right. Yeah. You're listening to Can't Get Right.
Hey, this is Can't Get Right with me, Kurt Metzger, and I wasn't around last week because I was on the road. I apologize. Let me start with an apology.
That's like the old format, right?
The old format that I just forgot about. I didn't care and didn't feel I owed anyone an apology, but I do. But I've been Jesus, out of town and all this stuff happened. I had to do I was opening up for Louis in Portland, which I thought was going to be crazy, but it's actually the crowds are great. It's a great time.
What do you mean by because you're in Portland? You thought there'd be like
well, this, by the way, returning Can't Get Right, friend of the show, Bryan Vokey's here.
Yes.
Who we haven't spoken since we won't even get into it, but
no.
We won't even get into it. That's how crazy shit is.
You don't want to speak a demon's name and raise it from the grave.
Yeah, that's right. And anyway, I guess I texted you when I was out there in Portland to do the show, and I thought that there'd be protesters or something outside because at the Improv,
there's like three.
Yeah, there's like 3 fat chicks, and
yeah, it's
not important that they were fat, but it kind of is. Because I'll tell you why it is. Okay, I don't want to make it. It's not that they can't have their fucking feelings or any shit like that, but these aren't active people. Do you see what I'm saying? So if for them to get out of bed and come do this, like that's what you're gonna fucking exert physical effort for. Of all the problems, you're normally inactivists, but you're like that's what gets you off the sofa is knowing that someone's going to a show somewhere.
Well, that's
man. Do you even care about the earth?
That's kind of Louis to get people to get their steps in. It's nice of him.
Louis helped a lot, yeah. But not in Portland. There wasn't anything like that. Portland was actually great. I had a great time there. There's a street crazy on every block.
Was it you, Shane Gillis, and Louis?
No, me, Adrian Appalucci, and Louis.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that was the funniest lineup ever.
What?
Just you, Shane, and Louis. Just like
Adrian's funny, dude. Adrian's been she was on the tour longer with him. Her and Shane were doing it. Like they just last minute. I don't know. Maybe Shane couldn't do it or something. But the crowds are great. I couldn't believe how good of a crowd Portland was at this.
2 shows in one night?
No, one show Friday, Sunday, one Tuesday.
And it was a theater?
Yep.
Damn, that's
sold
nice. Hey, have you been in a theater recently?
No, I was in an amphitheater where I bombed my ass off in Boca Raton.
Oh yeah, I heard it. I'm sure you told that on this podcast, right?
I thought you were like, I read the news.
No, you told me.
No, it was a terrible bombing.
Did that make news?
Probably local. There
was
That's what I mean. From the Boca Gazette there. I haven't found it. I found some footage. Kyle Grooms took some footage of me bombing, and we used it on Sly Stallone.
Right, for Curb.
He was trying to get me. Yeah, he was always trying to get me to not do my silly dreams of magic. Sly thinks I do magic, but just the boring talky part and none of the fun magic tricks part. That's what he thinks my job is. It's an ongoing. There's a lot of deep lore to that Sly Stallone thing. What you want to it, dude? What were you?
Me, I went up to Arizona. I did Tempe and Phoenix to stand up live in Tempe Improv.
Yeah.
And then I did somewhere in San Diego, American Comedy Club, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that place all the time. The American Comedy Club.
It's a bold name, don't you think?
Yeah, it's
the American.
It is very like America. Well, San Diego's a town to do that, you know. Like you probably don't want to do that in San Francisco. People are like, what are you, a fascist?
Yeah, no, everybody like because of Marine. Yeah.
Yeah. So at San Diego, it's a place. That's a place for that. I haven't been.
San Diego is the perfect conservative town for California because they have a gay Republican mayor.
Do they?
Yeah, they have a log cabin guy. Isn't that what they call them? Log cabin Republicans?
Yeah. Why do they call them that?
I think they go to the woods.
Ask for a log cabin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they go to the woods and fucked and complained about taxes. I don't know.
Because of supposedly Abraham Lincoln. I remember this when they came out. I was in high school, the log cabin Republicans, and they're all gay, and they're like, because Abraham Lincoln stayed in a fucking log cabin with some Secret Service guy, and they like slept in a bed together, and he wrote him like kind of like lovey sounding letters.
Wait, Lincoln had Secret Service?
He had somebody like that. Like
how the hell did he get shot?
Not Secret Service, but whatever, something. It was like a soldier or something.
And an old time, like a wooden. They had the horn coming out of their ear instead of the electric earpiece.
It's not conclusive. It was a thing that because you have to understand back then, all the things. First of all, people were gay all the time, and they were just like, "Did you ever see Hello Dolly?"
No, I didn't see that.
Like, why, I hear he's the gayest man in Yonkers. It was an 1800s thing to mean you were like fun. The gayest man. So that's just how they talk like that.
Right.
You could time travel. You go back and think everyone was homosexual based on the men holding hands and sleeping, spooning at night. That's what you just share a bed for some reason if it was cold.
Right.
And then when you'd write to other men, you'd be like, "My dearest Beauregard, my..."
Right. Those letters don't, they don't translate to mine.
David, beloved Jonathan in the song.
How long to grasp your abdominum
and tickle your fundament when I return.
Yeah, the words are still slightly Latin.
Dude, yeah, you could like you give each other hand jobs. It was a better time.
I know. I mean, we keep thinking we're progressing, and then you read about like the 20s, and it's people were just ass fucking at City Hall in the 20s. It was like, it seemed like a good time.
People, what?
Well, I'm just saying, like, whenever you read about the 20s, like in Europe or the United States, it seems like, besides race relations, but like as far as sexuality, you could be, it was fine. Nobody cared.
Yeah, well, that's why they called those chicks flappers, because they had huge pussy flaps from constantly getting banged.
And then they call it the gay 20s?
Yeah.
I think.
They did.
Yeah. Oh, what a time to be alive.
Gay as fuck, dude.
Everybody was having fun.
I just watched something about, let me dig it out, because I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I want to give credit to this guy who, I like weird historical kind of like freak shit, So there was this girl that lived in Spain in like the 1600s. The Palace Monster, La Monstra or something they called her. She was a chick who was just really fat. Her name is it looks like Eugenia, but it's like pronounced like Ugina.
Yeah.
Martinez. And she was born like as a kid. She was like a Maury Povich fat baby. And when she was
she was so big that she became like mythology.
She's not mythology. She's real. She was a palace fatso. I swear to God. And I was watching Forgotten Lives, just to give credit to the guy. Here we go. So this guy is his channel's called Forgotten Lives.
She looks like the girl from All That. You remember All That? That Nickelodeon sketch show?
Oh, no, because that girl was more Jewish looking. Stop it. Okay, so.
Okay, I'm at
that tiny Gentile.
I apologize.
No, the All That chick looks like a kind of like born to be Bette Midler kind of girl. Like,
right.
I know who you're talking about too, but okay.
Yeah.
So this girl, they call it the Palace Monster. So back then, it was like, I think King Charles II of Spain. Now, you might have heard of King Charles VIII of Spain for his
of course.
Famous inbred face. The Habsburg. It's the Habsburg line, okay?
Yes.
Of royal inbreds, where they just inbred themselves so much. Will you put in get a picture of King Charles just to show for people in case they don't know? I always think people know about these things, but
they made fun of that on 30 Rock. They had Pee Wee Herman playing the Prince of Habsburg.
Right. Yeah, there's all these references to it, but then you'd be surprised who still doesn't know about Habsburg.
Right.
And he was the king.
Well, he's looking that up. Have you ever seen a reconstructed King Tut? What he looked like?
Yeah, and the same thing. He was in mess.
Brother and sister were his parents.
It's just too close, man.
Well, it's funny too, because people are like 14, that's too young to be a king. And it's like, I don't think he would have gotten any better,
Okay, well, King Charles, this guy, the second, this is like just before 1600. I think she died like in 1600 or something. And and she was sick. She was like enormous, and she was taken to live at the palace to be like, yeah. So that's where this king's line ended up with this guy. Now, keep in mind, the person who painted this picture is exaggerating how handsome he is.
Yeah. Yeah, because he kind of looks like a tomato can boxer, the kind of guy who you fight your first fight at, and he just takes your hits.
Yeah, like
boxcar Willie.
He has both eyes looking at you, not one looking in one direction, and like he's very symmetrical, exactly. And like
his nose is in his mouth.
Okay, so let's go back to the palace monster. So this guy was way after that girl. He was the 8th. Okay, so the second had this girl, and because they would keep on hand. Go ahead. Will you put it up again, Mike? And in fact, if you want the video, put it up because I want to show you basically all these kings had like court freaks, like a circus in their court of like well dressed. Don Barris.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like the Ding Dong Show.
Yeah.
It was like a late night comedy store sign up show. Okay, and so she was like, or like American Horror Story freaks, like as a king, you would just have these people to laugh at. So what people would do, can you play some of the video, Mike? And I'll tell you fast forward to it because just so you can see what court life, because there wasn't YouTubes or so Poviches, so you had to have your own fat baby to laugh at. Okay,
Jerry Springer the second, yeah.
But my favorite part is the reason they had them there. Like all the royal ladies would want their picture painted next to that fat chick. All of them.
Right. That's still to this day.
Yeah. It makes them look really thin. So that she's famous. That's what they had back then instead of like liposuction. You
right. Or Photoshop.
Chick, and you're like, oh my God, you're so much thinner in this enormous gland. This girl had like some condition.
That's why I started a podcast with my friend Bruce, the door guy at the store. He's about twice my size. So I look great next to him.
Oh, that's good thinking. Yeah, keep going. At court. Yeah, keep going through at court because. So that was King Charles. Wait, I want to see the picture of all the. Here we go. We'll go back. Did you see the collection of?
Wanted to be drawn or painted next to her, in order to emphasize the beauty of their slender figures. Sadly, however, Eugenia and others like her at court received no payment for their services. Despite working long hours. Also, they essentially lived at the mercy of their lords, who could throw them out penniless whenever they saw fit. Of course, some saw this as a grave misfortune.
Look at that Peter Dinklage of yesteryear.
Simply as a human exhibit by the nobility. Yet for some, it may have been a stroke of luck. Well,
it definitely was.
Nobility spent a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, how much worse was real life?
Yeah, but like, I mean, this is like being part of like Howard Stern's fucking whack pack or something.
Yeah. What would Beetlejuice be doing without Howard Stern?
Yeah, you'd have a Beetlejuice. So here we go. Here's a portrait they made of like a court.
Most peasants of the day. Despite being provided for, the nobility treated them as objects and did to them whatever they pleased for their own amusement. In fact, Charles's father.
Jesus Christ! Look at pause. Did you go back? Just look at that guy. Go back a little.
In fact,
okay, go look at. So this is like a court silly brain.
God,
I know. Here's what's amazing. First of all, the guy. Do you think he sat still for that excellent portrait?
Yeah, I mean the way his hands are, you can tell he's at least a rocker, at the very least.
But this is like somebody who like cared, like to have this portrait done. This is like a cherished pet. You know what I mean? Like they were like how rich people have with their dogs. They used to do this with people.
Yeah,
they literally did with people. So he was listing all the people they had. They had like, you know, people who were dwarves or like, and then like some people were just mentally ill. Like that was just one of
right.
So this is somebody with like a mental disability, but they just had people who were just straight up like crazy.
But also like, what were these guys going to be treated like in the village tavern? You know what I mean? At least
look, he's getting his portrait painted.
Yeah, I mean,
going through history. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. The guy making this, but it was interesting. The channel Forgotten Lives, it's called. Some British.
He had the perfect voiceover for this era too.
You can hear his like modern, indignant tone of like, it was sad. They were. That's probably the best thing you could get back then. For this guy, what the fuck was he gonna do?
He lived in a palace. I mean, listen, if I had to, like, if Eddie Murphy was like, hey, you can live in my house, but every now and then you got to take your shirt off for my friend. I'd be like,
they didn't
for
pay
sure.
them. You're going to pay that guy money. What's he going to do with that money?
Yeah. Buy lifts.
Like, I'm sure it's so much worse for if you're like that dude. They're not painting a nice picture of an idealized picture of you.
I know that is as good as it's going to look, buddy.
But the thing that I think is amazing is because they showed Charles, his face wasn't as messed up as Charles VIII, but he looked very similar. So yes. The royals, meanwhile, were so inbred and handicapped, they had to find more handicapped people to stand next to.
Right, like, that's their fat. Yeah.
That guy that I showed you, this guy looks better than him.
He does. He's a good looking dude for a freak.
If you had to pick, like, will you show the other guy again? Mike, the Habsburg, Charles, the eighth. Okay, so there's one guy. So this is before we get to his jaw fully under and his forehead touching, which is how they ended up.
Right.
If you had to pick this guy or the other guy, I would go with the other guy.
Did you? Yeah, 100%.
Okay, click right there. So look at this is what's amazing. So they have all these people with deformities. This guy's sitting there going, "Oh, look at these."
Yeah.
Back to this guy. This guy reminds me of the guy who plays. Yeah, go back to that one.
But also, are they taking advantage of these people, or are they just so far gone mentally that they're like, these are my friends? You know what I mean? Like,
they're probably like, thanks for the food and clothes and bathing, because he looks like the guy who played the Hulk in the Avengers. What's his name? That actor.
I don't know.
You don't tell me about, like, come on,
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
if you had to pick, I would go with this Mark Ruffalo character.
Yeah.
Look at him like they killed JoJo.
Right. Versus the punched in face. Yeah, for sure. Flat.
Is my eyes bad, or am I looking at a young Mark Ruffalo? That's a good looking guy in the court of.
I love the collars that they wore too.
Yeah, do you see the sensitivity in his eyes and the great acting?
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling what he's feeling. I mean, or we just like the painter. I think that's what I'm saying.
He probably had the strength of the Hulk as well. So.
That was his trick. He would lift the palace monster over his head while people ate wolf legs.
They probably had sex. It's probably what happened. That's the kind of weird shit they would do.
Oh, for sure.
If you've ever worked with people with special needs, and by the way, many comics have.
I worked with like autistic children, but they were pretty functional. There was nothing like that.
You weren't having to keep them from fucking each other, because that's a full-time job in some of these places. Like,
no. We'd sometimes have to send them to their nap stuff so that they could masturbate.
Oh, did they call it self-stimming? That's what Annie used to say. She used to work with kids, and they call it stimming. Like,
I was a preschool teacher, and so the kids were like 4 or 5. So we didn't want, that's dangerous territory with how you react to that. So we're like, that's under the blanket activity. That's what we would say.
When you look at this sweet face, can you be mad at him for tweeting about Kyle Rittenhouse's? Come on, everyone. Will you lay off of Mark Buffalo here? Look at him.
By the way,
he doesn't know. He didn't look at the footage. Why are you holding it against him? That he's
the royalty of Spain's bloodline. It definitely improved. Have you heard like earlier this year they like castrated or something the King of Spain because his libido was a problem to the state?
No.
King Carlos, is that his name?
I'm sorry. What? Hold on a minute. Mike, you gotta find what he just said. That's the craziest shit I heard.
There was some article about how they were either giving him estrogen or they were doing something to control his libido because
that's chemical castration.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, he's the guy who goes and kills lions and stuff, the King of Spain.
What am I from? What am I? Alec Baldwin's wife? What am I, naturally acclimated to this politics and castrations of Spain?
Yeah, the old Spanish
king. Was this okay? But is this?
Yeah, this is November 28th, 2021.
Why do they call him the old king?
I think he's like 80 and he was still fucking too much.
So once you get to a certain age, they call you the old king? That seems very strange.
Or maybe he's like the king father, like the queen mum, maybe. I don't know. Remember the queen mum?
Yeah. What about her?
Like maybe that's what the male version of that.
What is the source of this, too? The old king Juan Carlos I was forcibly injected with a testosterone blocker by the Spanish National Intelligence Agency, or the SPIA, the SPNIA, to reduce his sexual desire, which has become a national problem. What?
Yeah, I read about this. Like, I definitely, me and Ramsey talked about it on our pod, and I definitely cross-sourced it to 3 different news outlets. That doesn't mean it's true, but that's my rule. If I'm going to talk about it on a podcast, I have to see 3 different outlets.
Can't get right. We have a thing called getting it right. I have to see this now. I want to know why is he called the Old Spanish King?
I don't know. That might be a translated article too. It might be a Spanish article.
The Old Spanish King, they had to give him T blockers. I'm trying to think of a nursery rhyme.
He probably has a palace full of freaks that he just bangs all day, and then, while he's supposed to be doing his.
Because when they go, they're called the FBI. The FBI is not
no.
Because that seems wrong. That would be the CIA if they're an intelligence agency.
Right.
Being castrated. But who did he fuck that was such a big deal? That's what I don't get.
They don't. I don't know. I didn't research it enough, so I shouldn't even brought it up because I just saw that.
Dude, these are translated. This one says shaking scandal. Oh, this is foreign news. It's not translated, but this is like something I would think would be great news. Shaking scandal. This is that all these pop-ups came in. Like, I think I just infected my phone with something.
Yeah, probably whatever the king was infecting half of Spain with.
This is crazy.
Isn't that lovely though?
Oh, so you got it from the Senate. Dude, there's crazy pop-ups on this. What is his name? What does it say the name is?
Juan Carlos, I believe.
So let's look. Yeah, like that.
Testosterone blocker.
Okay. An ex-king missing millions in a monarchy in crisis.
Yeah,
this guy apparently fled the country with money. So this might just be some weird rumor about him that they spread about a guy.
Spain's Secret Service injected. So it's like the Mirror, the Texas News Today doesn't sound good.
The Daily Mirror?
Yeah, the Mirror, the UK Mirror, and then the Met.
It's called the Daily Mirror, I thought. No,
the Daily Mail is the other UK one, but they have an article as well.
Oh, it's not called the Daily Mirror. That's a really stupid name. I just realized. Okay, is Mirror UK?
Yes.
Okay.
He's 83.
But I'm not seeing him being chemically castrated.
Was injected with female hormones as a sex drive was a danger to the state. So a police chief who's under investigation claimed this. So that's just a claim of a guy who's under.
Oh, yeah, because that seems like it would be major news.
It makes sense.
Why wouldn't they do that to Prince Andrew?
Yeah, well, maybe they did, but that probably wouldn't make news.
He gave out the injections. That's what I heard.
Dude, my favorite thing about Prince Andrew was so he had the Epstein pictures break and everybody saw that he was hanging out with Epstein. And then like a few months later, this is like 2018, I think, or 2019. Then they tried to slander him with a racism scandal. And it's like, those are in the wrong order. If you're going to call somebody,
are you talking about the Meghan and Harry interview?
No, the one where apparently in Parliament, he said the N-word behind the scenes in Parliament.
Yes. Wait,
but it's like who gives a shit?
No, it's like an old saying.
Yeah, the N-word in the woodpile. Yeah.
Well, and you're like, what? When is that from? What age? Like,
yeah.
That's like just an old saying. That's how racist it was for whatever that was a saying. Like, that wasn't even a racist saying. That racist saying. Like, no. It doesn't mean.
No. There's an African American gentleman.
Keep him away from the wood.
In the wood.
There's. Oh my God! Blur this out for YouTube.
Yeah, Christ.
In offense. So it refers to making fun of the Republicans because they said the Republicans are trying to fake that they're really. So remember how you would say.
I would hate to see AOC say that to make fun of the Republicans.
Okay, so you know what this is? So remember Obama? They were like, he's really Muslim and pretending he's not Muslim.
Yeah.
That's the Democrats at the time were making that about the Republicans, that they secretly are anti-slavery but don't want to admit it.
Oh,
So in their wood pile, I guess like their planks or whatever, they're hiding an N-word in there.
I thought it was like a rougher needle in a haystack. That's what I thought. But I guess I was wrong.
It does sound like, I mean.
Yeah, it sounds like needle in the haystack is the jerry rigged.
Okay, go down a little bit because I want to find out the instances, because you think Prince Andrew's the first one to not hear. Look, if those are legit sayings for a while, and you're like someone that lives up in on high, like in a castle,
in a royal bubble.
Yeah, the only people you talk to, the only people who aren't white, like can't speak the language and have to suck your dick, and you never see them again. Like, do you think?
And half the people you're around are 300 years old, pretty much.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, "What is this new liberal talk?" Okay, let's see. Go down. Okay, there was an American comedy film titled.
Oh, of course there was.
An N-word in the woodpile. Wow, that was like the feel-good comedy.
That does sound like a Louis short from the 90s, like a silent black and white movie he would have made.
That is the name of Louis' new hour. And let's see, Dr. Seuss used the term. Oh, Dr. Hughes used it in the cross-section of the world's most prosperous department store. And wait. I didn't read the Dr. Seuss. Okay. I don't remember this. Oh, it was a cartoon. It wasn't one of his books. Oh, so he was just doing, his is kind of innocent. It's like a guy's trying to catch a fly for his ointment, and another's looking at monkey wrenches to throw into his machinery. One is haystacks with needles, and finally a man looking at a selection of people drawn with stereo for his woodpile. I need an N-word from my woodpile. Like, he was just taking old sayings.
Right.
Joke is?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty funny of a joke, I must say, on Dr. Seuss's part. Like, I get the joke.
Right.
Like, you're taking these old sayings and it sounds corny, and then you just throw that one, and you're like, Jesus Christ! Like,
well,
actually, Dr. Seuss is a great artist. All right,
it's like the Brian Regan topper bit where the guy's like, I walked on the moon, and it shuts everybody else down.
That's a pretty sophisticated joke. I guess in the 20s, you said it was the anal 20s. How they call it?
Yeah, the gay 20s.
I'm sorry.
I think it was the gay 80s. Actually, it was the roaring 20s.
The gay 90s. The gay 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
First it was gay, then the roaring came after penetration. Okay. Get it out. Okay, in 1990? That's what I want. The most recent uses. So look, wait. We'll go down. Ingy Bernstein said the term in 1994. She used wait. You okay? Let me see. Whoa, good. Our pictures are blocking it, so you got to lower Ingy Bernstein below Brian's picture. Here we go. She used the term in a summation to a Liverpool County Court jury. So a judge, she immediately she's like, now this case is a real N-word in the woodpile. I'm sorry. That's what it says happened.
She immediately
apologized. Oh God, I said it again. The plaintiff who was black brought a damages action. So I guess he abandoned his suit against the Home Depot for a lumber accident, and the appeal was rejected in 1996. It was ruled as inadvertent.
Wow.
Wow, that's something else. In 2008, David Cameron was urged to sack. This is like British, this term.
Yeah, Lord Dixon Smith said, of course, Lord Dixon Smith talks like that.
He said concerns about government housing were the N-word in the wood. Wow. He said the phrase that just slipped out without my thinking. It was common parlance when I was younger. Also, parlance was a common parlance. Oh my God.
And then 2007. Yeah, Prince Andrew's not even in this one.
That's how old these people are, dude.
I know.
They have to not forget. They have to remember not to say N-word in the woodpile. That's how ancient
politicians are. Yeah. The ruling class of England. Yeah.
Okay, in 2018, it was revealed that Irish race car driver and commentator Derek Daly had used the phrase in a radio interview.
Jesus Christ.
In 1983. So I already don't care.
Yeah.
He explained he was a foreign. Whoa, don't scroll up. I can't. Okay. He explained he was a foreign driver now in America, driving for an American team with an American crew and with an American sponsor. And if things did not go well, he would be the only N-word in the woodpile. His comment caused an immediate uproar from people listening in Gasoline Island. They warned him of the volatility of that phrase. So he had no idea. So that's in the 80s. So that should have been in that Will Ferrell movie.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, the new Irish guy.
Sacha Baron Cohen should have said that.
No, he could be French, but they have an Irish guy. So that's how
the race car drivers from all over the world talk like rednecks.
But like these, like they have a whole different set of stuff that's racist over there. Like,
of course.
Like I don't even want to say it, but it's Packy.
Yeah, you don't want to say. Yeah.
Did you bleep it? You're gonna have to bleep that, Mike. That I said. It sounds like the cutest racial slur.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable. But it's apparently when I was there, all the guys who were black dudes are like, "Oh, dude, say the N word if you want, but don't say the P word."
Really?
I don't think they seriously were saying I should say the N word.
Also, it's so funny when people.
I think they're impressing on me that one was considered worse for some reason. I guess they don't have the same. Depends on your history. That's how you get your slurs, right?
What other line of work do people warn you for this kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
What other line of work do what?
Like if a lawyer was coming over from England from the US to England, do you think they would give him that same warning? That's just a comics warning, right? Like just here's the slurs.
The race car driver, they gave the race car driver that warning
after he said it. These guys sounded like they were trying to get ahead of it.
Who knew that was even a phrase?
I know.
I've heard one part of it a lot. I've never heard the woodpile parts. That's a whole narrative. That's more than just calling a name. There's like a whole imagery and like what's going on. Did something happen to the woodpile?
Prince Andrew, November 2019, a Downing Street aide alleged that Prince Andrew, Duke of York, had used the phrase during a trade meeting.
So we don't even know that he did. I mean, probably he did though.
But I just think it's funny to try to slander somebody when they've already been accused of the worst thing. And then
first of all, I think it's funnier that he used it during a trade meeting.
I didn't even think of that.
I really want to close this deal. I know what'll bring it home.
Yeah.
There's like a guy in a business thing just blurting out the N-word, like how uncomfortable in a corporate international environment that would be.
He opens
you know how insane that is? Yeah.
He has a little toy of it in his briefcase. You know what it takes to close this deal? Put that down.
You know what it takes to close this deal? He pulls out one of those lawn lantern guys.
Yeah. He has a brass wood pile.
Let's see. City councillor in Taupo, New Zealand, was subject to official complaints and a code of conduct investigation after using the phrase in a council meeting.
I mean, how many times do you think
this could be a sci-fi thing of Black Mirror that like somehow it like returns every
every time it leaves your mouth, it has to enter a new body.
Yeah.
Like Poltergeist or whatever.
Yeah, I think we could trace it. Okay, let's see. See also Dog in the Manger. Will you click on Dog in the Manger?
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Dog in the Manger was like a way to clean it up, but keep the
old Greek fable.
To keep the NGR portion of the phrase, but just switch it up a little.
Yeah.
Guys, can I take a little bit of a break from the show right now to tell you about Rock Auto Parts. Is that their jingle? It should be, because it's the online store with every auto part at the best prices. God damn it. I'm getting interrupted in this ad read because my mom's texting me articles she read. Why? Rock Auto. This is your one-stop shop for everything auto parts. RockAuto.com is not some fly-by-night nonsense in Chechnya or wherever. It's been in business for 20 years, and they make it easy to find the parts you need at the best possible prices. Why walk around in an auto parts store hunting them down just to get away from your family? Is that why you're doing it? Well, why don't you spend some time at home with them and go on rockauto.com and find what you need fast and easy so you can repair your fractured relationships that you try to escape from in your work as an auto mechanic. So if you're a car guy right now, go to rockauto.com and check out all the parts available for your car. You're going to have so much fun looking at car parts. Why don't you bring your family and include them? Try to instill the love you have of car parts with them that they can't understand. Why don't you try that first before you call them a retrograde word because you don't think they're manly enough. Shaming your only boy. Once more, go to rockauto.com. No promo code needed as their pricing is already that good. And when you order, make sure to tell rockauto.com that you heard about them on Can't Get Right with me, Kurt Metzger. And it was me, Kurt Metzger, who saved your family by bringing you together around rockauto.com. Okay, let's get back to the show. Have you seen the Nilk Boys ever?
No.
I never heard of it, but they have millions of views on these pranks. So, Mike, play that. We put on that video. I just want to show you this one main part. They're like, it's almost like super impractical jokers. Like they're really impractical. Okay, like the one I watched, they were driving around in. They're from Canada. And they're driving around in like L.A. Go, hey, you want to buy Coke? Like really aggressively to people, and then the cops pull them over because somebody calls the cops on them. Of
course.
Yeah, and so I was like tense watching. I'm like, Jesus, that's like a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
And the cops and the one guy. So I was like, this is stupid. I was like, this is like really idiotic to do this. And then the one guy made me laugh so hard. They're coming to take him out of the SUV. He goes, but I didn't even know it was illegal to sell Coke. He said it so sincerely, like, I either what? Because you can't tax it. Is that why it's illegal? He's saying the dumbest shit. Okay, and it's so funny because he's like purely like. And then the cops go in church and they have all these cans of Coca-Cola under a blanket in their SUV.
Of course. Yeah, yeah. So it's like a real soft ending. Yeah.
So then the cops are like, whatever. They're like, I think the cops could tell this was like some prank. And they were like, kind of like, but then they do this in Colombia. They do this in like places where I was like, what?
Colombia, the country, or Colombia, South Carolina?
No, the country.
The country of Colombia?
They go around a park. They're not like all
Death Wish.
They're Canadian mix. So it'll be like, a guy with like a real big French drinking nose and a guy with who's like half Somali. One guy's probably Lebanese or it's like a friend group from Canada, clearly.
Yeah. Real
the guy who's a drunk. There's one guy who's just a fucking drunk. Who's hilarious. Okay. They did that. They walked around in a park in Colombia being like, you want Coke? And aggressive. And people are like, who are these fucking foreigners saying Coke? I'd be afraid someone who sells Coke would kill me.
100%. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Or the cops. Who the fuck knows what would happen? So the cops come because somebody called the cops. First they sell, these guys follow them because they're like, all right, we'll buy Coke. They're like, you sure you want it? They're drawing it out, and then they give them the cans and the guys start laughing. But I don't think they knew it was a prank. I think they thought it was a language thing.
Oh, because they are saying it in English. They're not speaking Spanish.
Yeah, and then because they bought Coke for $1 each. They paid to get some Cokes and whatever. Then the cops came, and then it starts to go bad because the cops just want to see their passport, and they're just going to take them in, but they don't have passport. So they're going to take. They had no money, so they must have had someone advise them because I wouldn't know how to do it. So then the cops are like, so now they're getting worried that the cops aren't going to even bother with their stupid prank because they're just like Americans saying Coke. We just assume they're probably not very good cops. So then they find the cans of Coke. Then they give the cops Cokes, and then the one guy, the half black guy, keeps pushing it with him, which is hilarious. Like, hey, you and me, we're the same. We're both from the hood. He starts saying this stupid shit to the cop. He's like, no, don't worry, my dad's black, so it's cool. Like, and the cops arrest him, and they say,
of course,
a knife and marijuana. And then they're all freaking out, and then it turns out the cop just dropped him off, and he ran back. And you could see them getting off on the extreme risk.
Yeah.
This clip I want to show you. This is what made me laugh out loud. It was them going to Pablo Escobar's house in Colombia, and from what I could tell, one of his relatives and this woman run the tour. So there's like actual Escobars running it. So you could play it from here. Go ahead and play it from here. This is like kind of dumb, the glory hole, but it'll go in the other part. Okay, well, go ahead, press play.
Down here, so we put it higher so we can show you the hole.
So he did have his, like, that's a small glory hole.
Yes.
It's his glory hole, man. His fucking cock was in there.
Pablo had his last meal sitting in that chair.
Really?
Yes. Easy.
He fucking immediately sniffed the seat, dude. Oh, you press pause. I just want to show Bryan that.
He said, I think Pablo's cute.
Because that was his last meal sitting there. He just goes over and sniffs it. That's the funniest shit, dude.
He's trying to smell a big paella fart.
There was some nephew or son. Oh, one of Pablo's sons was there. I was like, does this guy have a problem? Like,
there's a guy up in the Central Valley in Fresno, books shows. He does comedy up there. His name's Jeremiah Nation. He used to be in the Marine Corps that is on the Marine One, the helicopter, and back in the Clinton administration. And one time, Bill, he was on TV on CNN saluting as they walk off. And the Marine on the helicopter, as soon as Hillary stand up, he went down and sniffed her seat off camera so he could see it. And the Marine, and you cannot laugh in that moment. It's a big deal.
Dude, that's the funniest shit I ever heard.
Yes,
that was on TV. Not the seat sniffing, but
my friend Jeremiah, who books shows up there in Fresno. Yeah, he was saluting.
Can we actually see footage of him saluting while that's going on?
I wouldn't know how to find it because they're not gonna. You can't search the Marine who's saluting the president.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's right. Huh?
What was the event?
It was just he was on Marine One, so anytime Marine One lands, 2 Marines are at the stairs saluting the president and the first lady as they walk off every time. So I don't know where they were. But he went all over the world with them.
He was sitting on a seat somewhere.
They were on the helicopter. All 4 of them were on the helicopter.
Oh,
so one Marine stays.
You can see a guy sniffing her seat.
Yeah, as he's saluting them in his peripheral, he can see the other Marine sniffing Hillary's seat.
Dude, that's so fucking funny. I would like.
I know, and you can't break.
Wow, dude, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like so high stakes.
I know, right?
That's genuinely the funniest thing if I was that guy, that'd be the funniest memory of my entire life.
I think it is.
Because it's such a brutal like situation to be in. Train. That's how they should train the military, with situations like that. Like for interrogation resistance. They should use "you laugh, you lose" training for our military.
Yeah, exactly. I got punched my first day in boot camp. I got punched by a drill sergeant because I went in Fort Sill, Oklahoma back in 2003, and that was all male still, and it was a little rough and tough. It was like artillery.
Where did he punch you in your turd chute?
I think it was my cock muffler. I can't remember what it was. I forget. But everything he said was funny. Yeah, and I couldn't stop laughing.
I can beat you up.
Yeah. And he's like, "You think I'm funny? You want to fuck me?" And then he punched me.
That's pretty good way to go if you're funny. If you're genuinely funny, to not go into comedy. Like, I want to become a drill sergeant so I can beat people up when they laugh at my jokes. I'm an expert in that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I just beat them viciously.
I didn't expect it to be like the 60s in there. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like kind of because everybody like I joined.
Did he call you a steer or queer or something?
Yeah. Jesus Christ! I didn't know they stack shit that high. Yeah,
that's what they do now, but it's woke. They go, "There's nothing but steers and queers," and I think that's great. If anyone's queer, we support you.
And if you're a steer, we will not eat you.
That word has been reclaimed. It is no longer an insult.
Yeah, it was the guy punched me right away. He was so funny. I wish I could.
In the gut or in the chops?
No, he punched me right in the face, but it was just like a little love tap. He didn't really like knock me down. I just my face snapped to the left.
Oh, so it's more of a shaming than an actual.
I think it was like, snap into it. This is real. Like, stop giggling. Even though he was being funny. He said, he told me to get the jizz out of my ears. That was one of the things he said that made me laugh.
Oh my God. How did he know you had jizz in your ears? This guy's good.
I know. He's clairvoyant.
What are the funniest things he said besides jizz in your ear? I mean, that'd be pretty funny in the.
Well, the funniest thing a drill sergeant ever said to me was when I was in boot camp, Johnny Cash died. Okay. And so he calls everybody to attention. We're standing at attention at the end of our beds. And he goes, "Who here likes Johnny Cash?" And I was the only one to raise my hand. And he goes, "He's fucking dead. Get over it." And he walks back and slams the door. And then another one was in 2003 when I was in boot camp. Also, I believe, I don't know what, I think federally, it was the Supreme Court. I think sodomy was legalized federally or decriminalized. I don't know what
I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
The one thing that was holding me back from sodomy was finally gone.
Yeah, in 2003, I think the Supreme Court finally got rid of their federal sodomy laws. And he was like, "Good news, queers." And then he delivered it was I would love to get that guy to host like a news show in the morning. Sodomy's finally legal, so all that butt fucking you're doing is no longer a crime.
Is it called Good News Queers? That's the name of his news show. It's like the guy from The Office had like a good news show that everybody liked.
Right.
But then he sold it.
Yeah, they would like, I guess
he had bad news for everyone. Oh, if you've grown attached to it, I'm selling it.
Yeah, I guess it was their way of keeping us slightly connected to the world, because you're completely cut off while you're in boot camp. So you give us a little bit of news in the funny.
Weren't you in like Germany?
No. I lived in Germany doing stand-up. No, I was in the US the whole time. I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, you're just cut off in the US from the world.
Just in boot camp, I mean, just for that.
Right.
Yeah, just for that little bit.
And then what'd you get, like discharged?
Yeah, I got out a little early. I had a hard time in there, but I got an honorable discharge. But yeah, I had to leave.
Got an honorable discharge.
Yeah, I have an honorable discharge.
Oh, I think you had a dishonorable discharge.
No. Everybody thinks that, which makes sense. But
I could have sworn you said you had an honor. Was it like they just wanted you out or something?
They gave me it's called an early separation. And so like it's an honorable discharge. So there's two types of way to prove your discharge. One is an abbreviated one, and one is the long form one. If you saw the long form one, it says I have a personality disorder, but nobody looks further from the abbreviated. They said it was like oppositional defiance disorder, which I went to school for early childhood development. I learned that that's only for like small children. Like that's not a proper diagnosis for a 20-year-old.
Kind of a little dig at you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let me tell you, was the word queer used about you at several points in the
yes, the Army? Yeah, that was a soft day. That was a nice day.
That's what Sparta did, except then they would actually be queer together.
Then they would also win, which we lost all the wars that I was.
Good news, sodomy's been legal. Our society is built on it.
Yeah, I'll never forget Johnny Cash and when the sodomy laws were struck down. Back when Billy Rehnquist was the Chief Justice.
You've always I always love the way because when you say like this is Sparta movie 300 and how gay, it always fascinated me.
Is that the right word though? Because that's like a modern take on it, right? That's just the way it was.
Okay, here's what it was. You're a young you're a young soldier, okay? You just joined.
I've been there. I could put myself in those sandals.
And then so young Bryan enters the Spartan Corps. Now you've already proven your manhood by sneaking out at night and murdering a slave. It wasn't a wolf. They showed it as a wolf, but it was a slave. You have to kill a slave and not get caught. And then you're a man.
Oh, so that's like capture the flag. But
it's kind of because I think if you did get caught, it was like murder. Like property destruction.
I think that's how it works now. The only way it's murder is if you're caught. I think that's how it's always worked.
Back then, you could only get in trouble if you got caught.
Right.
No, the whole point of it was you're supposed to sneak and kill a slave, but then I don't know how they know that you did it. If you're no one's supposed to know you did it. I'm not clear on how that works, but you're supposed to sneak.
Well, you probably bring back a year or something.
Yeah, but then you're like, oh, he's a man. So remember that slave that just got killed? That probably was that kid. You
probably had to get caught in the act.
You can't get caught in the act, but afterwards you could tell. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
So you've just got done doing that. So now what else? What other things can you do that you never thought you'd do? They pair you up with an older, more experienced warrior, and you're going to practice on the spear. Don't worry. But first you're going to practice on this spear. First you're going to practice on mouth spear with an older, more experienced Spartan.
Was it that ubiquitous? Was it everybody?
Because then you form a stronger bond in battle. So how it was. Don't ask. There was you couldn't be gay in the military here.
So that was like a trust fall back then.
Their thing, and because their thing is it will create cohesion Same reason they don't allow it.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
like, this is what it takes to be a great warrior is sucking.
Yeah.
You know, if you could take it up the ass, you can take any. That was the thinking.
Right.
Sparta and yeah, so all their greatest warriors were like, you know, spit roasted at some point in their lives.
Yeah, I mean, it always confused me. I believe it was like maybe it was who's that comic who shot himself? He had like 9
Drake
million.
Sather.
Now he had like 9 million Lettermans and HBO specials.
Richard Jenney.
Yeah, Richard Jenney. I think he had a bit about that, about like, I don't want to be in a foxhole with a man looking at my ass or whatever. And it's just like, what a crazy paranoia. Just like, I don't know.
He was making fun of that, or he was
Yeah, that logic. That logic was just so inconsistent. Like, you're in the middle of a firefight. You think some guy's going to be like looking at your juicy ass?
He's probably extra protecting it for later. Cohesion. The Spartans understood this. If you were more attached to a guy's ass, you'd watch it better. Am I right or wrong? That's the military. Everybody watches their friend's ass.
Yeah. We do have battle buddies.
Yeah, there you go. What better name for it is that? A battle buddy.
But you go home to a wife, right?
We're being deployed in some rough swamp terrain right now. Battle buddy.
Deep in the trenches.
In the mud, in the blood, my friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird like psychology in boot camp. Like they would make us like run and scream and bayonet these dummies to like just get
like
used
in
to
Glory. I saw Glory.
And then when you're firing your rifle, like before you really get accurate with shooting your rifle, they just want you to get used to just unloading clips. So like I was shooting and I guess, you know, I
really? That's how they teach that?
I never touched a gun before I was in the military. So I was just shooting. And the guy
want
came
you
up.
to get used to shooting fast first.
Yeah. So he started hitting me in the head with this, what they call clearing rod. A clearing rod is the thing they stick down the barrel to make sure there's no rounds in the chamber.
Yeah.
So he just started hitting me.
I can read between the lines. When he came at you with his clearing rod, then what happened? Don't rush the story.
He smacked me in the head with it repeatedly till I shot faster.
Noise. The old Spartan car wash, as we used to do.
Yeah, exactly. They would call that the Spartan morning alarm.
That's what we had for Kyle's Andrew Cuomo show, where he would tell a story about his grandfather was in the adult circus and he would walk down the aisle smacking his penis on people's foreheads. He put a little bit of lotion, Vaseline.
Is he telling it like it's a fun like
quick story? Quick story.
Yeah.
And we were trying to think of what to call it, and I thought came up with the Polish car wash, and we laughed so hard. We laughed so hard at this stupid name, a Polish car wash, that like I hurt myself from laughing.
I love watching you guys write that stuff because there's nothing funnier than people who take that nonsense super serious. Like you guys, like you know the backstories, these characters, where they're coming from.
And we didn't even release the sketch. We had another Prince Harry's Lonely World of Imagination.
Not the one that I was working with you guys on?
Oh, yeah. It never came out.
No. It's
because there's something like, you know.
Yeah, Kyle said it wasn't playing, right?
There's something off about it, but because where she comes in, I know what he means. There's something off. We have a bunch of them, stuff like it, but we spent like 3 hours, dude. Because he has the knife and he has like the spoon and the sock.
Yeah.
They taught Mrs. McSpoon and I can't remember the fucking
Pinky Winky or something.
Mr. Tinky Winkle.
Yeah, Mr. Tinky Winkle.
His penis. It was about how Kristen Stewart. He wasn't. Why aren't you at the party, Harry? Because Kristen Stewart's there. Like, isn't she your favorite wank? Like,
isn't she also playing your mom?
Yeah, she's playing his mom, and he's like, I don't want to wank to my mom. Like, they like work that out, right? And then his penis starts talking.
The old Scottish sea captain.
Yeah, and so we spent 3 hours, no lie, to come up with the name Connor McPenis. And I mean, we argued. This is using all of our brains. We settled on Connor McPenis. It was like, I can't say it was worth it, but it was the right name at the end of the day.
I hate to be a stickler, but shouldn't it be Connor McPenis?
Yeah, whatever.
He's
Yeah, Mac
Scottish,
Peters.
right? Are there Scottish mix? Isn't it Max? Isn't that the difference?
They all don't count as white people to me. So
That's not what I was
they're
asking.
all kind of a subspecies, if you will. Can we just talk
Island
about
folk.
my Scottish racism? Can I just indulge my?
It's funny. One time I was at the lab and some comic was making fun of his Eastern European heritage and doing like a Czech accent, and Tim Dillon was behind me, and Tim goes, "I'd like to see him to do Mexicans like that. I'd like to see him do it," because he was just like, this guy was making fun of Polish people. It's like the safest.
But he is that like?
Yeah, he is that. It would be weird.
Yeah, well,
he all of a sudden started doing
dude,
him.
go watch George Lopez if you want to see that.
I know, right?
Tim, you can see that. If you're the thing, you can do it.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, like, it's not the rules I made up. I'm just telling you what society has taught us.
You know what? I meant to tell you this earlier, but last night I got hired to write for Germany, Comedy Central Germany. They're doing a roast battle there, and I got hired by one of the guys to write jokes for him. I sent 3 pages of jokes to this guy. He submitted them to Comedy Central. Comedy Central rejected every single joke I wrote. They said they were too quick and they were too harmless.
Were they harmless? What does that mean?
They were, I mean, like they were jokes about the guy. Like I had all this information about the guy.
Why didn't you want, like, I told you, put an N-word in the woodpile joke. That's they want.
They don't like quick. They wanted like biographical stuff. That's like, it's kind of like what I don't like about the American roast battle, where it's like, you know, Brian's mom died of cancer and he's gay. And you're like, what? How's that a joke? You know what I mean? It's like they want this like really biographical.
Who did that?
Well, I'm just saying, like, anytime I did roast battle, there's always a long joke about my mom.
You're talking about at the Comedy Store.
Yes. Yeah,
the Comedy Store roast battle, I would say, with like it is like the proper venue, the belly room for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's its own thing because it is remarkably meat. Sometimes I'm like it's I've heard every time I've been there, I heard something like somebody's mom died.
Yeah,
it almost becomes funny because it's so cruel and it's like a standard thing that it almost becomes funny at a certain point.
Right, but let's not pretend they're writing jokes. You know what I mean? It's like God wrote that.
But like you could write a joke.
I was doing jokes. I mean, I've written for like, that's the only professional credits I've ever had is roast writing. Like I know I'm good at that.
You want to hear a great? Hey, I'm not doubting you.
But Germany is.
Well, they're very precise auto. David Feldman, this is my favorite one from when I worked on the Sheen Roast. But the guy didn't, Harvey from TMZ. What's Harvey's fucking last name?
I don't know. The guy who sits in the middle and kind of directs the conversation.
Yeah, that old Duchess.
How does he not have some issues?
He does. So he was going to be at the Sheen Roast because TMZ was always reporting on him, you know. And
Levin.
Harvey Levin. So he bowed out at the last minute because I think he knew he was going to get like, he's a guy that probably doesn't want to get tried. Feldman made a joke that made me laugh so hard. It was for John Lovitz, and he goes like, Charlie Sheen has spread a lot of seed all over Hollywood, right? But that is nothing compared to the seed that Harvey spreads just by farting. Roast joke I ever heard.
See, those are I just feel like the best roast jokes are jokes. They're you know,
they're short. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be
such
short.
A funny fucking dude. It made me laugh so much. Like,
yeah, is that the one where what's her name? Ann Coulter wrote her own jokes?
No, and I would have wrote jokes for her because she used to do race wars. I was like, I would because here they started having a thing. I don't know if it was called the situation spot, but they started having a thing of like booking someone on purpose to be like to bomb. So everybody like how the situation. Bombed.
Yeah, it's weird how everybody was joking like, "I hope you fucking die," and they're like, "How's that a joke?" I don't
it was
understand.
crazy. I was crazy, and I was like, and I was like, "Yo, I'll write you jokes." Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. Like, don't have her on. Here's the thing: she's on there because she had her book coming out that she wanted to promote. So if she's bad, you know, don't have her on promoting her fucking book. What, like, don't have her on to do that. That's like a crazy like
right.
It's not even the dignity of cockfights where or like pit bull fighting. It's like a thing. It's like real like Coliseum.
Right. Wait, I was under the impression that she refused jokes. Did they just not
might
write
have.
for her?
I don't know. She might have. I have
Yeah.
no idea. Shit. I was just like, hey, if I knew, I would have sent you jokes for.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I thought it's not supposed to be like ugly, like, but they could be like mean jokes.
Of course.
Lewis's roast that he didn't invite me to came out pretty fucking funny.
He didn't invite you to. He seems like given you guys' history, you should be last one up.
Oh, he showed clips of it in the intro.
Really?
Yeah, I just wrote a letter to him and Shane read it.
You wrote a letter and Shane read it?
Yeah. So like, I wish I could have been there, but.
Did you do it like Civil War documentary style?
Yeah. It was about what real ass means to me. And yeah, Shane did it. Shane was fucking hilarious. But that was a good roast, like because it's like all,
they're friends. They know each other.
Yeah, get very strange. I wasn't on it. Very strange. Very Harvey Levin of Lewis to not but like that was a great roast. Like if the clips are online, like it's funny as shit. Like everybody did great on it.
My favorite one I've ever watched is the Rich Voss one. That one I loved. That one was really
what was
good.
that?
That was like 4 years ago or something, 5 years ago.
Yeah, those are good. Like roasts are good if they're people.
They're friends. Yeah.
They're like the one for Big J was great.
Yeah.
And anyway, as it got more like it's kind of how Vegas used to be the mob and now it's corporate. So it lost the human touch, as a Jimmy Dore said to me on it. Before it was corporate, the mafia was the human touch.
Right. At least they could be reasoned with.
Yeah, all these things, they like wring the humanity out of all of it. So it's comedy, whatever, until everything gradually becomes elevator music. It's like cruelty to like elevator music is how you suck even like blackface, if you look up the history of that, did not start out as a cruel mockery. It was a thing, a way around segregation laws because this music that people wanted, and there was laws that they couldn't have black. So they would do it like a tribute to Kiss, like a Kiss tribute band. That's what it was when it started, and then it slowly became popular. So the logic, if you weren't like some massive promotion, corporate entity, the logic would be, maybe just black people, could sing the songs.
Right.
Like, people love blackface. People love it. And then it becomes more and more insane and cruel and disconnected from what it is. It was already a stupid thing, but it was not the intentions on that. Like, and also it was a way in for a lot of even with that, all the early performers then will say that was the foot in the door, honestly.
Well, no, I know Al Jolson, like a lot of black musicians, like said that he got me in the business.
Yeah. So, and Al Jolson, like, it was like a ridiculous dude too. Like, there's like a documentary about him, but like that shit progressed beyond into like, it's insane to be doing that. It's like anyway, the point is, as soon as they get like a IP kind of thing, it's going to get turned into like, it's just going to get warped into something like horrendous. That's just like the end.
Something plastic, soulless, just devastatingly boring.
Like everybody's worried about like the CCP, with the movies to make China happy and all that shit. Like, that's what we have here. Like Disney's already a kind of CCP. Like all of them are a kind of thing like that.
Oh, and also there's a lot of people who are just doing it to ourselves. It's like a volunteer CCP where it's like,
what do you mean?
Just like just individual citizens helping like pool together to regulate each other's thoughts and speeches.
Well, yeah, that's like the freelance, but I think that's not as
I'm a freelancer for the CCP.
Yeah, that like the people really dedicated to that are like trying to get a job at these companies that so like that's like low level, and it actually really doesn't really amount to much. What amounts to much is like somebody higher up in there fucking with you. That's why all the tactics are to like turn like an advertiser against you or like get you fired from a corporate job. Like you don't have to listen to some maniac on Twitter.
No.
Netflix with Chappelle didn't, like it was like a big pageant, and nothing happened other than a young fat boy's sign was broken.
I saw that Chappelle was like, wasn't he? I shouldn't bring this. I don't know the full story. I just saw that like Chappelle went to his high school, and they said the principal said his comedy kills, and they like.
Oh, I didn't even look it up. I think it's all like that. His comedy. It's like ultimately what's good about that. that stupidity is at the early days of it, people didn't understand how the level of insane. They just because they don't really pay attention to stuff, and you actually have to wait for everyone to be annoyed because a thing they like got destroyed by this nonsense. Right. And it's almost like like someone in a crowd, like, or, you know, somebody like heckling, like I don't go at them until I notice, I can see the crowd is like, is
ruining their time.
Yep. Because they'll ruin your time first on stage. And then people can't hear. That's like the rookie mistake, is to go too hard or whatever immediately. Like once you figure out you can say something back, and then you do it too aggressively. And the crowd goes like, why are you being mean to that person who's just trying to ruin your life, basically? Like, they don't understand what's happening. So I let them ruin it for them first before.
Right.
So I go in with that like mandate. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I saw a thing about it, his high school thing, but I was like, I don't give a shit.
I didn't either. That's why I didn't.
The Marge, what I do love was, let's play this, Mike, because I don't know if I played already. It's Matt Orfala's compilation of the trans activist, the person like who was leading the thing. Like, he made a mashup of clips of this fine lady talking about, you know, her activist bullshit, and then
is this regarding Chappelle special?
Yeah, and then her old tweets he found, and he has the computer read her tweets.
Oh my god,
dude! Do you know what I'm have you seen it too, Mike? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm looking for it. I have the guy's page. I'm looking for the video now.
Yeah, it's the funniest fucking thing, dude. It's like it's really great. And
I mean, all these people are glass houses. I mean, everybody is, because everybody was a teenager, and no teenager has a clean record.
Well, but the point is that the reason that's focused on, like, media wise, is because like there's like 20 other fucking strikes for real things. Not like, I think John Deere won theirs, but massive companies that make everything, like vaccine and oatmeal or something, like that kind of conglomerate, kind of strikes. So you didn't see any really reporting. It's all about the Chappelle thing. That's 26 people about a thing that changes nothing. Like, they're not gonna, they can't afford to not have that Chappelle special. They're not gonna. The demands were insane. Like, it's all a pageant for everybody. All right, yeah, go ahead, press play.
My entire career, everything that I've done has been about pushing boundaries. It has been about holding people accountable.
I just cussed that Asian bitch clean the fuck out.
We expect more.
Whoa.
I order and then blame me? English is my first language, bitch.
And so,
I know it's a lot to ask in California, but speak fucking English. Yet I said it.
Teresa O'Neill and drag?
Social equity into these spaces. We
just broke my phone on this Asian bitch.
Suck all of the light out of that. And so the thing that I felt most troubled by is
Latino and Asian businesses need to stop being rude and fucking disrespectful.
They don't have the same equity.
This Asian nigga in Subway got a fat ass.
They don't have the same opportunity.
He almost looks like a bitch from behind. Hashtag shaking my head.
We will no longer stay silent.
Asian hoes act like they won't get karate chopped in they motherfucking throat.
Just to be clear,
in real life, I'd smash your fucking head in like a can of A&W root beer. Dick Rider.
Real violence that is by the trans community, for the trans community.
Bro, I would beat the dog shit out of you. Dick Rider.
To understand intersectionality and what
using some gay guy.
Asian friend, but they some motherfucking weirdo sometimes. Hashtag I said it, but we all think it.
Obviously, Ashley Marie Preston is a great advocate.
Furry slipper wearing ass fuck boy. Keep pretending for the internet. Dick Rider.
Ashley Marie Preston has proven herself as an activist, also a friend and a loved one to many people in her embarkment on activism. So thank you so much.
These motherfuckers. Faggot cocksucker. That mess.
Oh my god.
Looking bitch. I love strippers. Not in like a gay way. I love gay men, but this county clerk at Window G is a motherfucking faggot.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
That is the last time I helped that faggot fucker.
So for those of us who are standing in solidarity with the trans employees.
Another. Damn. Asian almost hit me while crossing. What the fuck is with y'all and damn vehicles? Hashtag racist ass. I don't do Mexican, Asian, or Samoan.
We need to have different complex conversations.
That's a very specific prejudice.
Yeah.
Like Flintstone vitamins.
Let's be in high vibrational community with one another.
I get so upset when slut bitches constantly get pregnant and munch away on abortion pills like Cheetos.
Thank you so much, Ashley. As a non-binary individual,
not necessary,
I want to say,
Fuck you, Matt. You're making my cock fall off.
Man.
Wow. Well, listen, I just want to say that I'm glad that she took an opportunity to reflect and learn and grow and change.
No, she said you're trying to take away from my activism. Because all of them that do that have like a whole history. That's why people delete their histories so they can.
Yeah. I mean, that's mental illness. That's what that is.
She thinks that it's okay for her to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's all the words that are bad. Those are like the cool people were, like there was a point when saying N-word in the woodpile was the cool.
Like the yeah.
That was hipster. Old timey bicycle slang. Wow.
That was when they used to rust the razors in the rain barrel. That time.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah. Back then. You tell me he hasn't said that?
Yeah, it's really that guy has great like compilations of stuff he makes. Like he made all the Rittenhouse footage, like the most thorough one I saw with everything in it.
Yeah.
And he made I don't know, something else. His thing's great. He used to be like some Bernie guys like worker on his campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, that is just so extreme. Did that go viral? Did like people see that?
Yeah, it had. Yeah,
it took off. I just wish.
But see, do you see what happens? Like that's why it's good that this nonsense keeps happening now, because at this point, there's massive audiences for not listening to this bullshit at all. Okay,
Right.
And
you just can't have like a you can't be like certain. You can't. There's just certain jobs that you get shut out of.
Dude, I was talking to my friend that he runs like a podcast channel. He's telling me how it works because he competes with and Lewis is the same way. That's why I guess digital is a good business because they have customers.
Mm-hmm.
That you have like that's why I would put a podcast on here because I went to Skankfest and there's people that like, oh, this is a way I can get to people that would want to hear something I'm doing automatically.
Right.
And it's like not served. And the reason is because it's not driven by that anymore of like customers. It's all venture everything is venture capital almost. And they officially don't turn a profit. In fact, there's a lot of tech companies, they fake that they didn't turn, they say like, we're not profitable yet. Well,
yeah. Or Netflix is like, we're $7 billion in debt every year. They say that.
They might really be in debt though, but
yeah.
There's a bunch of places where it's advisable to hide that you're profitable because you need another round of venture capital. And, and so like, everything is just gobble up the market share. Like Bill Gates buys all the farms or something. That's the whole idea. And then when they're more about profit, you have all the stuff. So there's no like normal, what you would think that a capitalist society would be.
Mm-hmm.
The way people think about it who like it, it's not like that. It's like this crazy, you know how they say China's state capitalism, they call it?
Mm-hmm.
This is like capital statism. Like it's like a reverse version. Like
but when you say it's like capital corporatism, I mean it's not like it's private though. It's not the government.
Right. There's still statism to it. Like you have to be a citizen of, they were demanding Joe Rogan be deported from Spotify. You know what I mean? Like that's what this shit is like deportations or like sanctions.
Right.
Like that's what remember we canceled Cuba back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You're canceled Cuba and we canceled Venezuela and North Korea. You're so canceled.
Yeah.
And then that's what it is. It's
sanctions or cancelings. Yeah.
It's like these companies so around the same time when everybody would say the same dumb parrot shit about like, well, it's not censorship if it's not the government directly censoring you. The corporation can do what they want. Like,
yeah.
And they would say it, and you'd be like, are you saying that as if it sounds like you found a legal loophole that you're thrilled about so that you can censor is how that's coming off.
Yeah.
Or do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, you enjoy like
idea because we'll always control the levers of power. It could never be used against us,
right?
Or by my own friends and family against me. Like that's everybody that had like a corpo job because they're subservient. So, so that's what. So now you have your own rights as a citizen, supposedly, which by the way you don't have because they've been gone for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your like Disney Bill of Rights to not go to Disney jail, like the park, and also, or Patreon, like you can't, you know, they passed something. Trump like threatened, and I don't know if he even got it done. Threatened to pass a thing to punish them for like, we're not doing business with you. Like,
punish who?
Banks, all these businesses that are doing like this. They hold. I don't think he did. If I'm wrong, and he did do that, I hope he did. But I'm sure it's like a lot of things that he didn't fucking do.
Yeah,
I would have given it to him if he did, but they were all bullshit.
Yep.
That's what all the ESG and all that shit is now. That it's no longer the cancel things are only used. There's just a bunch of rabble that can spout off if they want, and if a larger entity sees fit to use it to eliminate a rival or a thing or a competitor, then that's how it gets used. So,
right.
I mean, that's where it's at now. Like I said, even the humanity of being a Tumblr mob has been drained out of it.
Yeah, it really has.
Like the SJWs were the human touch of that.
Yes.
And they're like wrung out of it. Like they either got jobs, like tech jobs where they can run little like power games on like message boards. Right.
Right. Twitter war games.
Or like Reddit. Reddit's notorious for having like some crazy, like they had some scandal where they had to fire this person who was running for office for something in England, whose dad, who was like trans, and then their dad was found keeping like a 8-year-old and a 9-year-old girl in the attic for years as like a sex slave, and he was like some diaper fetish guy. This person, and they all lived together, and they were like, so it hurt the election of I can't remember what this
island people are weird. I mean, weird shit's gonna go on. Island people, yeah, England,
like UK.
Yeah.
I guess you're.
Yeah,
well,
they're island folk.
Not as weird as Reddit. So this person got hired by Reddit to be admin on their message boards. So this maniac whose dad is a diaper fetish child slave holder in his attic that you don't know anything about, crazy. I mean, maybe it's possible.
I mean, it's possible. The kid's small. How would you know? Maybe they were estranged. Maybe he disowned her for, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be held accountable for the shit my dad did.
Yeah, and I also know that I don't want you to admin anything.
Well,
if you can't even, it's not like that's possible to go on under your nose, but I would, like, if I was like, had no, like, who's that guy that had the girls for years? He was hiding and his friends would come over and didn't even know he was like, had kidnapped.
R. Kelly? I don't know.
No, everybody knew. No, the parents brought those girls.
Yeah, I know. He wrote songs about it.
Yeah. Bring you in the closet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. No, Angel something. He killed himself when the girls escaped.
Wait, he just had like girls locked up in soundproof rooms?
Yeah, but the point is, people didn't know. He didn't live with someone, though, that didn't know. Right?
Right.
I guess that guy in Germany who kept his daughter.
Ariel Castro?
Yes. Look, it's possible that you don't know, okay? I'll grant that. But if I was someone that like that didn't know, I'd be like, I shouldn't be in charge of sniffing out trouble.
Yeah, you're right. I guess you're right.
Like if I can't even in real life find trouble at 2 inches from my head in a building that I live in, I don't feel like my touch is going to be the thing to decide on a message board what's a danger, and like you're not qualified. Like
who's qualified is my friend Jeremiah, who didn't break when he saw Hillary's seat get sniffed. That guy would be a good admin.
Yeah, wow, that guy he should be able to write his ticket of like you could deploy him anywhere in the world for serious ass shit.
Yeah, I wonder if he got like recruited like by those red suited London people. They're like, we've seen your work. I think you're qualified.
Like,
were they the beef eaters? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, beef eaters.
Yeah.
You look like a real beef eater, dude. They are dressed like a couple of beef eaters.
What a crazy name.
Yeah, it is a crazy fantasy island, isn't it?
It sounds
beef
like
beef eaters.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a drill sergeant would have punched me for laughing at.
Don't try to break in; they'll defeat you.
You think I'm funny, beef eater?
When they defeated France, Yeah, that's a good. It's not like the Kobayashi Maru test on Star Trek where it's like a no-win situation.
The only Kobayashi I know is the Conan Island Kobayashi.
In Star Trek, Captain Kirk, that was the famous test at the Academy where that you couldn't win, and he won. He's the only guy who won because he snuck in, like hacked into it and reprogrammed it so he could win. And because that's like that's what it reminds me of. Like that's a test that you give to see like how you deal with a seat sniffing. It's not a no-win because your friend won.
Yeah. The seat sniffing.
Yeah, it's more like Dune. Like the Gom Jabbar needle is without his throat, and you have to stick your hand in the box, and you get a vision of the guys on your squad sniffing Hillary's seat after she gets.
You
up.
smell it in your nose.
If you laugh, you die. It does sound like Dune, the ultimate Dune test.
Yeah, you get Hillary's particles get transported into your nose when the needle enters, and you filled with her.
To look at that and just like fear is the mind killer. That's how you have to get through that. It's such a terrible.
Yeah.
The pain of holding in that laugh had to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's similar to like getting amputated in a Civil War field.
Yeah, that kind of pain. I would have it to a field amputation during the war between the states.
The War of Northern Aggression.
During the War of Northern Aggression. I wonder if somebody's still breaking that out, like that woodpile thing.
Probably. I mean,
do you know a lot about the War of Northern Aggression? I just like drop it in casually. They're very aggressive, the North. Yeah, mistakes were made, but they were a little Kyle Rittenhouse, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Why are they asserting themselves?
Oh my God. I don't know a lot about that case, but to me, it just seemed like crazy white people wrestling in the streets. That's what it just seemed like to me.
That's probably more information than 80% of the populace got.
Right.
People thought there was black people that got shot.
Oh, really?
First and foremost. Yeah. In fact, the Independent literally said that. Kyle Rittenhouse acquitted of shooting three blacks or something. Like in those. They actually
Oh, wow.
You
think that was a mistake or that was on purpose?
What is it called? Misracialing? What, like misgendering? Is it called? You misracialed me? That's not the word.
No, it can't be that.
Well, they misracialed the victims of who also, but dude, it's still the craziest thing in the world to me because I remember Rodney King and they played that tape over and over again. It was like a big deal that we have footage, so you don't have to take anybody's word for shit.
Yeah, it had the Paris Hilton sex tape look to it. It was all green and.
So it never occurred to me back then when it was like that being able to see the events, people are just going to start going selectively blind to what they see, and you'll watch it happen. Like, and that's what I watched with that, because that's like I knew he was going to be acquitted because, and I saw like only 2 of the footages that just showed the initial attack and shooting.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, just based on that, I knew he was going to be acquitted legally, because every part of that meets what self-defense is, where you're trying to get away and not, like, there's no like starting a fight or anything. Like, he put out a fire that a guy lit a fire and was pushing it in a dumpster and was pushing it toward a gas station. That was his fight. Okay. People,
as one is wont to do.
Yeah. And there's this crazy thing where like, there's a bunch of people who like, they think peaceful but fiery is a thing.
Right. Yeah.
And there's like, what is he even doing down there? Like, how do you even say that? What is the other people doing there with the?
Yeah, to me, it's just a bunch of wacky people who.
But you're supposed to let them do that in your head and be like, everybody I know, especially in New York, is like, well, I wouldn't go and do. They're all fucking New York pieces of shit that wouldn't help somebody whose shit was gonna get burned down.
Right.
Like,
right.
I understand. I would for a close friend go fucking defend their shit. Sure, if I know someone like that or cousin or whatever.
I'm much closer to that. That's I'm more of a New York piece of shit in that style where I'm like, that none of this is my business.
But it's right. But whatever. That I'm not even saying one's superior to the other so much, because one is adapted to it. In New York, that's a certain thing. There's a very mind your own business kind of place.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you would be dumb to step in. But even that didn't apply to what this kid did. They all had rifles. He was giving first aid. Okay. There was nothing where he was pointing a gun. The other guy on tape clearly is saying, I'm going to kill you, and stalked him. That's what's on tape. Even the evidence that they were holding back, the video that was compressed, it was in the court case that the prosecution had tried to give him a shitty quality thing, because the video showed the opposite of what they were saying. It showed Kyle Rittenhouse being stalked and not him stalking anyone. And it was, and they were trying to hold that back. So the Matt has all that compiled. Every incident from both the people before the shooting, what they were doing before that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's amazing to me is if you watch the whole thing, you're like, oh, that'll be self-defense. Like whatever you're like, but he had what do you call it? It was a 223, but he had an AR-15 style rifle, and he's 17. Yeah. Those are the emotional. So whatever. It's not even a thing to argue about, because we have all the footage of every goddamn thing, and you would think it's being reported. Since we have the footage, you would be showing it.
Right.
In such a serious case that people might riot over. You would think, oh, guys, we don't have to speculate on what happened. There's a whole... But no, nobody, and somebody directly told me it's really like seared in my conscience. An ex-girlfriend, not my, like a 2 exes ago girlfriend, who's like really into that kind of like whatever the dumb, like Andrew Cuomo's a hero take of shit.
She's to this day?
No, because I talked to her to be like, I told you so. That's why I have to admit to that. That's what it is. So it looks like I was right. So
yeah.
So I go, just look at the footage of, I'm not like trying to, she goes, I don't need to see the footage. I'm like, wow. I go, like, what am I, Galileo? Like, look in the telescope, bitch.
Galileo, why are we having probably how he talked.
Like, why are we even having a debate? So then people talk about it, and then they want to hold on to it so bad. They're like, yeah, but what is he doing going over? What does any of this have to do with the case, the legal case? Here's like the joke about OJ, why it is this similar to OJ. Mark Norman said he's the white OJ. He tweeted he's the white OJ. And I tweeted at Mark in that the system worked on both occasions. Is that what you mean? Because that's what happened. Both OJ and this, everybody hates the idea of it too. They're like, well, but the way the system works is, those are two rare instances of the system working how it's supposed to work. They had to acquit OJ, and they had to acquit Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse ain't as guilty as OJ by any stretch, but the law is the law, and it's not there to protect OJ, it's there to protect you. But nobody wants a fair trial. Everybody's a fucking liar that they want justice. They don't. They want their emotional whims catered to on a thing they saw on TV that's not even really their business.
That's my perspective. I didn't follow this case. Like, there's this thing going on. I guess
but this is why this one is important, because that's why it's like ultimately a good thing, because they found correctly, as a jury should. Well, if he was black, he did that. That's why I love saying that OJ joke.
Yeah.
Who cares? What does that mean? Oh, okay. So you're mad that it works ever for anyone. You say what you'd like is a reform where it automatically doesn't work, no matter what race you are. And to you, that would be satisfying and a good development. Yeah, for a lot of these people, that's right. I want you to break my sister's toy, not buy me a new toy.
Right.
Like that Louis joke is.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make her feel better, just break her toy. It's that. It's very feminine. It's unfortunately a byproduct of women in positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
The prophet tells us that there's a reason that you cover them up.
Right.
And keep them from the public square, and we're seeing it in real time.
I just felt like every time I go on like Twitter or something, there's some like quote unquote comic talking about either spike proteins and variants or like motions in the
dude, that spike protein thing is amazing because
I mean, you probably know what you're talking about, but like, I'm like, dude, I'm not smart, so I'm not going to start.
But that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing. Like I would know about, but I do now. But I just got vaccinated because I was like, my odds are good. I'm like, people probably won't die. There's going to be a sample of people that are fucked, or that it doesn't. I love your story, which is crazy, and it's not yours, dude. So you got COVID, right?
Twice. I got it the first time.
You got the regular kind.
Yeah, I got the regular kind before the vaccine was even out.
Okay, and then you got vaccinated on top of that.
Uh-huh. on top of already having it.
By the way, I would say go with natural immunity without the vaccination. It probably would have done better because it's such a shock to your system. But
yeah. I just thought they weren't going to let us go places, and I'm not.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's how I thought, and I'm like, it's almost hacky to say, but I've done many things to my body, so I'm like, yeah, I'll risk bio research. Why not?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So it was just that, and so then what happened after that?
And then so I got the vaccine.
Did you get sick from it or no? Or you didn't get sick from the vaccine?
From the vax, I got like the typical, like the way a flu shot runs me down. I just had like a day of tiredness. That was it.
I just felt tired. That's all happened.
Yeah. And then, and obviously the punch in the arm feeling. But then, so that was March that I got the vaccine. And then in August, I got COVID, and it was 100 times worse than the first time I had it. I had like, I didn't lose the first time I had it, it was no issue. The only reason I stayed home was because I tested positive. Other than that, I would have gone on as normal. It wasn't that big of a deal. I got it the second time, and I was out of my ass. I lost my smell. I lost my taste. They were monitoring I had to like get a pulse ox. Like I had to go to the VA hospital, and they had me on the pulse ox, and they were like, my oxygen was like in the low 90s. And they were like, if this gets into the 80s, we're going to have to consider oxygen. And so they were just like kind of giving me my options, but like I hung out right at 90, 91, 92. And then I was in the hospital for about 12 hours being monitored. They were doing x-rays and everything. And eventually they were like, it looks like it's not going to, it stayed around 90, 91, 92. And it stayed there for 12 hours. They were like, they gave me a pulsometer to take home. I wore that, and they were like, just keep an eye on this. If it drops in the 80s, come in here. And, but I was sick for almost 3 weeks, like just destroyed. And like people are like, I work in like a podcast studio and stuff, and they were like, come on, man, you're just trying not to. I'm like, no, I'm fucked. Like, I'm not trying to
Did you say
out.
The guy tubed you and was like, do you know how rare this is or something? Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, the guy, no, it was, he had the oxygen ready to go. I actually didn't get administered oxygen. It was right next to me, ready to rock. And the guy was like connecting tubes, and he goes, are you vax? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, do you know how rare you are? He was like, vaccinated.
Like, dude, do you know? You should have those numbers.
I know, right?
Why would I know? I'm relying on you, motherfucker. Like,
yeah. That nurse. He also recognized the doctor recognized a band tattoo, and I was like, I got to get to a better hospital.
Do you have any other issues though that would make it worse for you?
I mean, I had asthma until my 20s, but I haven't had any issues with asthma for 10 years. So
it's scary, dude. It's like you such a wheel of fortune of a fucking thing.
I know.
My other buddy he told me so I couldn't believe it. Like he got Moderna, I think.
Not Pfizer.
No. I'm sorry. He got the one that they took off the market.
Oh, AstraZeneca?
No. That's the one? I thought it was Johnson & Johnson.
I think Johnson & Johnson is still available.
It's back out now. It was the
yeah. That is, yeah.
You only have to go for one shot.
I think AstraZeneca is maybe in other countries, like Sputnik 5 and all those.
Well, so he's afraid of needles, so he did want 2 shots. He wanted one. They do it in 1 shot.
Yeah.
So he gets the shot. He went home, and then his mouth was on fire, and all these blisters started coming up all over his mouth and his tongue.
Oh, isn't that what's happening in people's toes too? Isn't that what COVID toe is? Like it's like blisters all over your feet.
I know. So he goes to the hospital. They're like, they can't find him. I guess can't figure out what's wrong with him. They give him a lot of painkillers and send him home. He wakes up and the blisters are covering his arms now.
Oh my God.
Like, he has to go back in the hospital. He was there for 4 days. He had type 1 diabetes, which is the kind you're born with. But
he didn't know.
No, he never wasn't born with it. He had it for 3 weeks, and then now he doesn't have it. He had the diabetes you can only get through birth. Yeah, it like bends reality, this fucking shit. And
you're telling me that's not man-made? That's way too spooky.
No, I mean, in a roundabout way. But what is it's an autoimmune reaction to the virus.
Yeah.
So his body went batshit. His immune, and that's what diabetes. One, it's your immune. It's an autoimmune. I didn't know that it's an autoimmune thing where your body's attacking itself, basically.
Right.
So his body went haywire and started attacking itself, and that was some people. It's not just the COVID vaccine. Some people, he said, get it just from vaccine. That's what he told me. So
interesting. Yeah, because I was shot up with so much shit in the army that I didn't have any kind of reaction to it. So I wasn't scared because there's no choice. That's why it's weird that all these veterans.
I remember controversy about it when it was like anthrax vaccine or something where soldiers didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
There was some kind of protest about it. I remember it vividly. And they were like, well, you're in the army. That means we can tell you what you have to take.
Yeah, you're government property. But I mean, I was like, give me 10.
But now they're mandating it. How crazy is that? And they came up with a military court. Do we have the right to put this shit in you if you don't want it? And they're like, yeah, we do. And this is now civilian. We can tell you to take this.
Yeah.
The thing that's bullshit is not the because it does help. I mean, that's statistically, if you're not one of the people that are going to get fucked up, because some people are, but I don't think I am. Statistically, you're better off taking the vaccine to survive.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, like, would I have been on oxygen? How bad would it have been if I wasn't?
Well, I don't know, because you got Delta. Like, there is a thing of where that shit can make you more vulnerable to other shit. Like, some people have reactions. Dude, this is a thing that was called Operation Warp Speed for a reason, because we're going to have to do a lot of the testing on you. So COVID's so bad. Maybe some people, what's so crazy is some people are like, they don't feel like Big J had antibodies and was like, I don't know when I had COVID, but apparently I've had it.
Yeah. There's just no symptoms whatsoever.
And I hoped I had it because I got vaccinated, but then I got sick. And I was like, oh, I hope I have it because it's not bad at all. It feels like.
Right. You wanted those antibodies. Yeah.
Those sweet antibodies I wanted.
Those juicy antibodies. Yeah. I don't know, man. I've had my body. I don't know if maybe I have some issues because my body attacked myself. I had strep throat when I was like 21. And it took me a long time to get it treated because I was like a blackout drunk. So I just thought I was hungover every day. And I was just sick for a long time. And then I got really sick. I started retaining fluids. My belly was distended. And God. My piss looked like Killian's, you know, that beer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. And so I went to the hospital and they were like, my kidneys, what happened was I had what they call post-strep pneumococcal infectious nephritis, which means that even though I got rid of the strep infection, my body had strep for so long that it kept producing the antibodies that attacks the strep, and those antibodies started attacking my kidneys, and my kidneys shut down. And then that's why I was retaining fluids. My piss was all foamy and bloody, and I was in the hospital for a long time.
Slow down. I'm going to come over here.
I know, dude. This is a Penthouse forum.
Hey, dear Penthouse, I couldn't believe this happened to me.
I had thick, foamy piss. It looked like Coca-Cola.
The orderly took one look and said, wow. Do you know how rare that...
You know what's funny, though, is it took 3 doctors to diagnose it because they were like going through all these tests and they couldn't figure out what it was. And then a Nigerian doctor, his name was Dr. Adogu. He was the one who figured out what it was because he saw that shit in Nigeria all the time. Like it wasn't something you see here a lot.
I thought he was like a Will Smith whistleblower doctor. Like, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know what is yeah, the thing that's bullshit is, and this is if you watch the official, like I have to watch them for Jimmy show the clips of the official people statements. It's like you're gonna get everyone's gonna get this eventually. There's not a thing where it's gonna stop going around because everybody got the vaccine because of Delta, and now there's a new one.
Oh, Omnicron or Omnicron.
Yeah, they skipped right to the final Transformer from Transformers the movie.
Yeah, it's like it's a spooky name.
Creator of the Autobots variant. And so they skipped to that name, and so it's a thing that's gonna go. That's the gain. That's what the gain of function shit is that because they're not supposed to be able to. All viruses are supposed to become more contagious and less deadly. They're not supposed to be able to change their evolutionary trick more than a couple of times,
right?
Unless they've been fucked with, and I still don't understand why that's a thing. Why it has a name, and it was definitely happening.
Yeah.
You'd love to blame China, but no, America.
Yeah, I mean, it was everybody working together. I think isn't there like 6-7 countries who do all that, like gain of function studies?
It sounds so crazy that it's hard to believe, you know. But of course, having a puppy faces eaten by flies is also hard to believe.
Yeah,
maybe one day we'll cure. I don't know what that cures. We'll cure cuteness. Can we cure cute puppy faces, or will this disease linger into our 22nd century? We tried having them eaten by flies. They are less cute. It was an experiment to see if you could make some kids cry.
Right.
We brought in some 5th graders. We showed them the experiments. And the answer is yeah, they cried quite a bit. The children were very disturbed. Some of them can't cry ever again. So it had interesting effects.
Right. And those tears are now used in the vaccine. Child tears.
We use those child tears.
It's a sad but important ingredient.
So it protects you. Like statistically, your odds are good that it'll protect you. So it's worth getting, especially if you're like old, right? And then, but the idea that you're getting it, so like fuck the people that don't have it and they can't go places, like that's silly. That's not, you can still pass it.
Well, it's like what Aaron Rodgers was saying, where he was like,
if you had it already, that is better immunity than the fucking vaccine. And you'll see conflicting things come out about that. And people get like mad, like, no, that's what it is. Yeah. Everything else is like horseshit when they say that. Like, I don't know. My nieces got vaccinated. Where I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah. The things people are emotional about, I don't understand the emotion around the vaccine. Like Aaron Rodgers made total sense to me when he was talking about how he's tested more than anybody else. He's tested every single day before he goes in the facility. He's the only one in the facility. The unvaxxed people are the only ones who know they're negative because they're not testing the vax people. So he's like, I clearly got COVID from a vaxxed person. So can we all calm down?
Yes, right. That's the thing that is and there's a massive reason for that, which is one, but Bill Gates is mad about it too. There's that clip going around of him of like, and it doesn't do a thing. Like, so he put a lot of money into it, but you're going to save his investment with a grant from the, Microsoft, NBC, and all of them. They take money from him.
Right,
so,
right.
I just found this out from, I'm going to have him on the show. This guy, Max Blumenthal, like, where Bill Gates came from? Like, you
like
never really hear
his origin story?
Yeah. Like Elon Musk, his mom was that model and, he's a rich kid.
Right. They always tell you Bill Gates was on acid, air guitaring to Jimi Hendrix, and then invented the computer or something.
I thought that was the other guy.
Was
Apple, that guy Apple that died.
Yeah. Tim Apples?
Tim Apples. No, Tim Apples is the current CEO. Who's the fucking guy with the turtleneck?
Oh, Steve Jobs?
Yes.
Oh, he was the acid.
Yeah, that's the guy that was like getting laid and like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Bill Gates was the nerd. That's the story you will hear. One was the nerd.
I thought Bill Gates was the thief. I thought there was like a Polish name, like Steve Wozniacki.
He stole a thing that no, the Woz works for Steve Jobs. He worked.
I thought Bill stole from him.
He might have. That's how all
the nerds mixed up here. I don't know.
They both were going to try to steal from Xerox.
Right.
The narrative I heard is Bill Gates stole Xerox's idea before.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, but you don't hear where he's born. He's old money from Seattle. His grandfather used to work for John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah, of course.
It's like oil and steel owned the country. If you ever watch The Men Who Built America, it's about these rich fucking oligarchs battling each other.
The robber barons. Yeah.
Yes, robber barons. That's right. Yeah. Like real commie talk that sounds
Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, all those people.
And, I know people don't like commie talk. Like, I don't care for it, but you should listen to it because all these guys have a lot of weird commie shit planned for you. They're going to be cool. They're going to live they're going to, earn their fucking whatever. And you are going to eat bugs. That's their that's the fucking sustainability, So what this dude did was
it sounds like capitalism to me more than communism.
But you don't think people don't think of capitalism because I still don't think of capitalism as the thing that it has become, which is like speculation and investors and not what you think of like you do a job and you get paid fairly and then the words get stretched to mean I don't really give a shit about the title of anything other than people want it to be like fair where you're like not maybe a handout. It's just a fucking, you're not going to be crushed by a larger entity that you can't compete with.
Right.
Capitalism's not supposed to have that.
Right. Monopolies, you mean?
Or I don't know what fucking, it's like I said, these things become meaningless. They mean whatever the person wants it to mean at the time. So Bill Gates is like so his grandfather taught him to buy the prez. That's why you don't hear even his Epstein shit is not really concentrated on like And it's like he's like a self-made man. Like Trump, he's not a self-made man. He inherited money. Well, Bill Gates inherited millions from his fucking grandfather.
Yeah, that's how everything works.
Yeah, but it's just weird to me. I never heard that ever. I've heard of Elon Musk's origin of like he wanted to save up for hair plugs. Whatever. He was going to do anything to get hair plugs that were good, and he achieved it. The American dream of getting good hair plugs.
He really did. Those are the best hair plugs.
Of having amazing hair plugs.
And a new girlfriend every 2 years, like a car.
Yeah, like the kids named after models of spaceship and shit. Like the dream. But Bill Gates, you don't hear. So what he like all that giving pledge nonsense that these guys, you know, the billionaire giving pledge they're going to give those. That's all made up. That's all tax shelter shit.
Of course.
They haven't given. They're like Amber Heard with her settlement to the sick kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is in Africa. So you know the stupid like the conspiracy thing of there's a microchip in the vaccine.
Yeah.
If somebody was like, "What do you?"
robots.
You could be fully vaxxed and be like, "I still don't trust it," and people are like, "What do you think? There's a microchip?" Right? Like that's the. So what I thought that was like purposely put out there to distract people, or make it look, you know, like a QAnon thing, right? Like purposely put out to a stupid thing to
put the most extreme skepticism to make more reasonable skepticism fall into that group. Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, it's not. He actually has a vaccine he was testing in Africa for rubella. That was like a patch with a little like tiny needle that would insert all your information of your vaccine history under your skin.
Like a dog.
And they and I don't know what became of it. It's like a fringe tech. That's what he does. Is that so? People heard of the rubella
and shoot it right in there.
Yeah, so people heard of this, and then the stories got mixed about this vaccine, which is not a microchip of any kind. But it's not. I didn't know that. It is based on something real. It's just that it's like Alex Jones up. You know, like Alex Jones, like the frogs are turning gay. He's talking about a real thing but that's a very stupid way to put it.
Right, he's talking about frogs turning into hermaphrodites, actually, I think, and reproducing.
Yeah, in his mind, that's gay.
I don't think you say intersex. Is am I like old now? Hermaphrodite?
Well, frogs could change their naturally, if there's not enough, they can change their sex.
Right.
They can be like
the Netflix protester.
They are genderqueer as an animal already.
Yeah.
Frogs are non-binary, kind of, but they have definite. But what happens is these chemicals. I can't remember the company, and it's really fucked up what happened with that because the company got to dodge any responsibility. Nothing's being done, and it's like that. That's going to affect people in their water and all that shit. So he's talking about a real thing,
like a pesticide or something.
Yeah, like he's saying it in a yelly, stupid way and not accurate. But by the way, that guy's less harmful than people saying a bunch of shit now. Like the entire media on Kyle Rittenhouse was more harmful. Why is your screen shaking? Are you jerking off?
No.
Put your hands up.
I was kicking the desk.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, are you jerking off to this?
As soon as you talk about binary frogs, man, non-binary frogs, they got horned up.
The damage of Alex Jones saying it in a stupid way is so minimal compared to the damage of the regular, like the reason those riots happened where those people got shot was because the media lied about Jacob Blake and made up a whole story about him. The guy got shot in the back.
Yeah.
That's a absolutely justified shooting that they did everything they could to not shoot this asshole before they shot him. They tried tasering him. He was kidnapping 2 children in a fucking SUV. And he was probably trying to suicide by cop because people go kamikaze sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It happens all the time in LA.
I'm sure he didn't intend to be paralyzed. So that's what the actual story that they portrayed as a, hands up, don't shoot kind of shit. So that kicked off the riot. The one guy said he was friends with the guy the skateboard said that was his friend, that guy. And that's why he was out there burning shit. So that's one lie's caused that. That's huge. You can measure the fucking damage. We have footage of the damage they directly caused.
Right.
And then meanwhile, you're supposed to be upset about fucking a fat guy from Texas. And
well, Alex Jones was fun for years. Like I grew up listening to him on the radio and we all enjoyed it. We just laughed at it. We were like, this guy's hilarious. He's a complete kook. And then something happened where all of a sudden, people started taking him seriously. Not the people, I think that most of his listeners still find him funny, but the people who didn't like what he was saying started taking him seriously, and then
You know why? That's their fault. Like if
that's
people
of course
try to take him seriously, it's because you've done your job so poorly.
Yeah.
Like they don't take responsibility. So they're like people in these fringe, like I don't like, like I don't, like I said, even though Owen Benjamin doesn't believe in the moon, okay, like I still get why he's like that, like part of it's Adderall, but another part of it, he was orange pills was part of it. But also I know how he got disillusioned very easily and sees like, and all these people aren't prepared for how fucking much everything's a lie, and they're not prepared.
Right.
And it makes them like, I don't know, become Jehovah's Witnesses. Like,
right.
It's like people do all kinds. Once you see like that, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Saying that's the thing. So when you can't unsee it, then you have to like, now you need to.
Your brain either snaps in half or you just become a monster yourself.
You get to have the thing that you think is for your level of income and intellect. You get to have your own story. So I don't like begrudge people that are like, because Alex Jones, to his credit, other than the idiotic Parkland thing, where he said those are like
Sandy Creek.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That stupid shit of like, I mean, it's just such a stupid thing that they have actors pretending to be the
Sandy Hook. My bad, Sandy Hook. Anyway, yeah.
There's so many shootings.
I know. I'm sure there was a Creek shooting too.
Guys, we don't have to riot over every little shooting.
I know. It's like Civil War. The Battle of Parkland, the Battle of Sandy Hook, the Battle. And you're like, yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, but that was a dumb thing of like, there was a school, is an abandoned school that's fake.
Yeah.
I think the government, if they were going to do that, they would actually hire actors and fake a school and do that. You don't think they would just kill some kids? Because that's what they would do. They would just kill some kids if they were going to do something like that.
But anybody who believed him or was angered by that is the same kind of stupid. That just, it's like, AM radio when I grew up was full of wingnuts and they were all funny. And you would listen to them and nobody took them seriously, Some
people did. I mean, they have call-ins.
Yeah, some people did for sure. But I just don't, it's your fault. Like you make him a threat when you say he's a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I just
kind of like N-word in the woodpile, the saying. You're the ones making it a thing, not Prince Andrew. The guy's just trying to illustrate a point with colorful imagery.
A trade.
The guy just was trying to close the deal.
That is chapter 2. I think that's the title of chapter 2 in The Art of the Deal.
Yeah, that's in The Art of the Deal.
In the woodpile.
Say it early and say it. We got to wrap up, dude. We've been here forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this can't get right. And again, I apologize for the show. I mean, what else can I say?
You're going to have to blur out that Wikipedia search in the beginning.
And I apologize in advance if that is not blurred out, because even though it's readily available on Wikipedia, you shouldn't know about it.
Yeah, but also Wikipedia can tell you, but Kurt Metzger cannot.
Yeah, it's absolutely wrong. Yeah. Oh, that kicking the desk thing is great.
Sorry. I'm sorry. All
right, go to kurtmetzgercomedy.com to see my dates on the road, and go to.
Almost came.
I'm doing a Kyle Dunnigan live show. I think we're doing we're making a new Fresh Prez. That's our next project. So we won't have the Stallone show as it is. We're gonna have mostly like after party and do like pick me ups and shit. But
like a live screening after party.
No, we do have a. He didn't want to have a podcast.
Right.
Like, just do it. And like, well, I don't feel like it's crazy. So gradually, we make the show. It's a lot of work, and then we want a thing for members only. And it was called The After Party, which I think he should call this podcast The After Party. Just call it that. And he has a funny song he wrote. He actually wrote a funny podcast theme song. The whole thing's a fucking podcast. We've just been doing it. We've been doing a podcast. It's called a podcast. Okay? And then as soon as you say it to him, it's like trying to tell my ex about the Kyle Rittenhouse footage. I go, Kyle, you're doing a podcast. And he goes, I just don't feel like that's what I'm good at. I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's a podcast. Like it's really amazing. Like, it's an amazing thing. But it's actually pretty good. Like, because we could just fuck around that, and then because it's a lot of intensive labor to make these Fresh Prezes. I want to make them just 5-minute long ones that we don't take, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be like we're going to have to do 3-part things because all the characters.
Bring me in. I'm ready to chop it up.
Yeah, probably you will have to chop it up. Everyone is going to have to pitch in.
Yeah, it's such a joy to edit something that I don't hate. That's not an influencer.
Oh, is that what you do now?
Oh my God, I work for people, the worst people in the world. Anyway.
All right, so that's our show.
Because I can't get right. Because I can't get right. Yeah. You're listening to Can't Get Right.